I've been saying since the offseason. I've combated with people back and forth, too, because I get where they are with the fandom for a certain man, and I respect that man. I just don't see him in the same light. That this Detroit Lions defense may, I don't want to say carry the team, but probably be like the strong suit in the team. And I've been saying it into training camp. Now we're watching training camp. We're hearing it week one. Now you expect some things to iron himself out, especially with a guy like the guys we have on offense to take finally punch these guys back in the mouth. But it hasn't been the case. And as I said in the last segment too, okay, let's bring in the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel's is an offensive guru. 2023, Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle had that shit popping.
Yep.
Detroit Lions said, "What the fuck? Sit your ass down."
Yeah, they did clap him up.
C.J. Stroud, Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Came to town. Nico Collins, Michigan man, came to town. Detroit Lions defense said, "Sit your ass down." And then today, Dan Campbell was asked point blank, "Is the Detroit Lions defense the best unit on this team?" And this is what he had to say.
I guess a casual person would say when they first see the Lions, they think of the offense, I guess. I mean, but how much do you really feel the defense has kind of reached that same level, I guess, and when it's healthy and whole, and how much has that kind of been confirmed, I guess, over the last, 4 or 5 weeks?
Well, look, it's hard to say. I know from what I've seen in practice against our offense, it looks pretty dang good, but we haven't faced another opponent with the one defense. Now, we've had some joint practices that have looked pretty good. And so I know with where we're at 6 weeks into camp, that I like where we're at. I think the unit is good. I think the personnel is good. I think Shep's done a heck of a job with the system and those coaches. And I think we're in a good place in late August.
Do you feel collectively it's the best group that you've had since you've been here?
Yeah, I think it's certainly up there, it's a real good unit. We stay healthy, we continue to grow, get better, we learn from our errors. We've got guys that are playmakers. We got guys that are smart, we can make a lot of checks, we can get in a lot of different calls. We can create turnovers. So we got to stay healthy and we got to keep getting better. There'll be things that we get exposed on that we got to learn from and we got to clean up, just like offense. So I like where we're at. And believe me, man, nobody wants to play this in all three phases more than I do. And I want to find out how many different ways can we win games. Like that's, man, let's get good at winning. And I don't care what it looks like.
That's one of the things I loved about Dan Campbell's press conference coming in, when he's kind of asked what kind of style of football we're going to play and what's going to be the identity. And that's when he kind of went into we're going to bite your fucking kneecaps off.
Yeah.
We're going to do whatever we got to do to beat you. And it resonated with me at the time because I was really trying to study why the Lions kind of stinked at the time and what the great teams were doing. And I was looking at the Patriots, and it's they never really had an identity from game to game. Just had a really, really solid defense, if not great defense at times. And the offense, really just changed every single week. Tom Brady the GOAT, don't get it wrong. But they've won games where, yeah, exactly. They attacked the other team's weakness. And I finally feel like he's built that here. And the defense has been a big part of that. And last year, I think it would have been the same too. But then half the defense went down.
Yeah. And
now this year, okay, yeah, you lost Ben Johnson, and the offense can't carry the same way it did the previous years. But the defense, don't worry, we got you. And I think it's going to be the case this year.
Yeah, I've been saying for a little while now, and I think we've all come to terms with it, that it's pretty believable. But the Detroit Lions are going to have a top 5 defense in the league this year. They are extremely impressive, and if healthy, they have one of the best rosters in the National Football League. And to have that type of success, to have a game plan like you just explained, where you don't have to focus on one piece of the ball, where you're not the Cincinnati Bengals, where it's okay, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have to fucking carry us. Or you look at even the Chiefs the past couple of years, they've been like, all right, our defense has to carry us because we have the corpse of Travis Kelce and just Patrick Mahomes, basically. So when you have such a complete roster, you can pick teams apart in what they do worst. You can be like, okay, we're going to kill you with our linebackers in this game, or we're going to kill you over the middle with Jameson Williams in this game because we know you're susceptible to crossing routes.
Yeah.
And when you have a roster as deep and as good as the Detroit Lions, and I would say the Philadelphia Eagles, and then that's kind of it when you talk about complete rosters of that much talent in the National Football League. You're allowed to do that. Yeah, I would say the Ravens are up there too, but I still think it's the Lions and the Eagles, and then I don't think anybody else is in that when you're talking about a complete roster, I think they are the 2 most complete rosters in the league, and it's not close, honestly.
I love it. Yeah, listen, Justin and I talked about this too, like where top 5, like, okay, what are we talking here? We talking about points per game, yards per game. Like for me, when I talk about top 5, I'm talking about a team that you go to the postseason and they're walking away with some heads. And I truly feel like that's what we've built along this front. And especially if we keep Davenport healthy, obviously Hutch healthy too, but Davenport healthy in order to collapse the pocket and feed these quarterbacks to Aiden Hutchinson. Then you got Lee McNeil coming back. Like top 5 for me, I'm talking turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's my big thing. Are you forcing turnovers? Are you forcing sacks? Like those type of situations. I think that's what we bring.
That's exactly what they're going to be. When you look at Kirby Joseph, who is the best,
Brian Branch,
the best center fielder in the league, the best forcer of interceptions in the National Football League since he joined the National Football League.
We see TA take a step.
Terry Arnold taking a step. You have, like you said, Brian Branch, an explosive athlete. And, oh, yeah, arguably the best pass rusher in the fucking league is going to be back, and he's got a robot leg this year. Like, these guys are going to be sacking the quarterback. They're going to be taking the ball away, and they're going to be creating havoc. We've already heard how much Coach Shep, is emphasizing punch the ball, rip the ball, get to that ball because you're going to come, you're going to hit hard, but now come over with a haymaker and try to knock that ball out. And when you got fucking psychos like Jack Campbell and Brian Branch and all of those big-ass defensive linemen clawing and scratching at balls, you're going to see a lot, you're going to see a lot more of those forced fumbles out of this Detroit Lions defense this year.
And Jack Campbell, like, when he was drafted, I was in love with the pick personally. But once I did the digging, I saw what he was supposed to be. And I just didn't know the type of takeaways he had in college were going to translate to the NFL. Now, we haven't seen it yet, but that 6'5" frame, year 3 now for him, I believe it is. Like it should start turning now, especially got Aiden Hutchinson there. You should be able to get your hands on some balls, and force a turnover. If not picking them, at least creating for an opportunity for like a Brian Branch to grab a tip ball or something like that.
Yeah, got to be grabbing balls.
Got to be grabbing balls. Nick?
I think the big thing, you just mentioned him, Jack Campbell. He's going to have all season to prepare for the playoffs, going up against the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You think about Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, Hurts, and Daniels. You're going up against 5 of the best quarterbacks, and you get your middle linebacker and the green dot, Jack Campbell, a chance to maneuver the defense the way you want to before you go into the playoffs where it truly matters the most. I think this is going to be a huge stepping season for Jack Campbell to be able to, get the D-line set up the way that they want to, get Branch blitzing on a backside blitz. And I'm really excited to see Jack Campbell and his evolution battling the other quarterbacks who are going to be making changes at the line and see how Jack Campbell kind of maneuvers that from the other side throughout the regular season leading up to the postseason.
Yeah, and that's been reported in camp. I was kind of cool going there in person and seeing it for myself, just him and Jared Goff having those chest battles at the line of scrimmage. Jared Goff calling a play or putting a guy in motion, Jack Campbell canceling it out on his side, then Jared Goff having to fucking rebuttal that. Like, it was fucking cool to see Jack Campbell, like, take that step. And that's been, like, the biggest compliment from him coming from these guys. Like, you heard Dan Campbell say it this year. Maybe it was Shep. It's his defense. It's Jack Campbell's defense now. You got to saw that, too. Shout out to Wheezy D313. With the super chat says, Eagles won't make the playoffs. Their turn. ...
Ambulance truck.
That's why I let Chris say it. Shout out to Chris for that one. Wheezy D. I'm sorry, not Wheezy D. I apologize. Zajagius in Woodward Sports Chat says, points allowed is what matters most, and the Lions were 7th best last year with 22 guys in IR.
Yes.
And that's very, very true. But again, I'm not a points per game guy. I'm not a yards per game guy because there's context to that too, right? Like if you play the Jaguars, the Titans, the Colts, the entire AFC South, your points per game are going to look good.
Going to look real good.
They're going to look real good.
Yeah.
In fact, I think there's 2 like 50-something point games.
2 single game. Yeah, single point.
Largest blowouts in Detroit Lions history playing that division twice last year.
Yes.
So again, this context, those numbers, to me, can they go out and do it against the best? And I feel like we have that defense now, especially with Aiden Hutchinson. And it's going to get taken to the test this year. That's why I'm hard-pressed to say 5, because I know we see Burrow. I know we see Mahomes. I know we see Jackson. We see some dogs this year.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not saying top 3. That's why I'm comfortably saying top 5 defense, because of the level of quarterback that you're seeing. And I believe it was Steve Smith, I don't remember exactly who it was. It was an insider, a former NFL guy on ESPN, saying that he wants the Detroit Lions defense to be more battle-tested coming into the season, and they are going to be the most battle-tested defense in the National Football League. When
That's
you
what
look
I
at
want.
the guys they got to go through, and when you're done playing Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels and Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow in the regular season, I don't think that a Sam Darnold or a Baker Mayfield is going to be too hard. No disrespect to Baker Mayfield, all disrespect to Sam Darnold. I don't think that's going to be too big of a task for them after seeing what they're going to see in the regular season this year.
Now, I apologize if we did announce this already, but Nick Whiteside released from the Detroit Lions.
And,
Waiving cornerback Nick Whiteside per source. He's a candidate to be brought back to the practice squad should he clear waivers.
They're releasing
Michigan native
Eric
and
Hallett.
former Saginaw Valley State standout who the Lions initially signed in late July.
And they're releasing Eric Hallett.
Both. Wow.
Aaron Wilson reports. Chris, you were going to say something?
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you guys about the battle-tested thing because I think the big thing that Dan Campbell brings to the table is that he has his team prepared almost every time. We all talk about that Carolina game, but that is now approaching 3 seasons ago. You know, so like this team always comes prepared no matter who it is on the schedule. So do you think that or do you feel that that was any sort of factor in that Commanders game? Is that they weren't? We know the injuries were a thing. We know that the team didn't play well, didn't execute well. Do you think any of it was that they weren't? I don't want to say battle tested, but they were looking at an inferior opponent, and that this year's strength of schedule will teach them that there is literally no week off, and last year's lesson, of course, losing the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they got a little cocky last year for sure. But also their team was riddled with injury and they turned the ball over 5 times. So I don't think that they were taking anybody lightly, but it's just
Oh, no, not at all.
It caught up to them.
These guys, that's why, listen, we saw those 55-point blowouts.
Yeah.
That's because this team doesn't take anyone lightly. They're coming to whoop everybody's
Yep.
ass, no matter who you are.
I also think in week 18 they basically had a playoff game for that top spot in the NFC, so I think that did get them ready. You just saw the worst of this team when the offensive line folds, the quarterback turns into a pumpkin a little bit. So.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You're talking about a top, so far, 18 player in the National Football League, Jared Goff, all right? Watch how you speak about that guy.
No, I think they were battle tested to that week 18 playing for
Yeah.
the NFC against the Vikings. That
You're
was
right.
a playoff game.
You are absolutely right. It was Dan Campbell said himself, the turnovers did you win at the end of the day. And that's just the basis of football. We went over the numbers like 2 years ago when we were chasing the playoffs. Every single game the Detroit Lions won, Chris, what do they have?
No turnovers.
Yeah.
No turnovers. And or takeaway.